Hello, and thank you for joining me, Robin Marchand, today in this Transform how-to video exploring workflows with wells in Transform. This video will cover a lot of different topics, as you can see here, but feel free to skip ahead with what interests you with all the times noted here that's going to be in this longer video. Let's get started off with creating well lists. So first, we're going to look at creating a well list in Transform through the Data drop-down menu. So within Transform, we're going to go to Data, Wells, Create Well List. This opens the Create a Well List dialog. At the top here, you can see the tabs with the different information found in the well card. In the middle here, you can see some tools and then the well counts. At the bottom here, you see the wells that are going to be included in the filter for that well list if saved right now. Users also have the option to check off a well to not include in the well list if desired. So let's start with making a well list based on spud date. I'll check spud date to be the filter and notice the tab has a green check, and then click here to filter the date to what you would like. Then click Apply Filter, give the well list a name, and click OK to save. You notice that the matching well count has now changed. Now let's start back over and easily clear the filter with this button at the top. We will move along to the Wellbore tab that houses all of the information about the deviation survey of the well. Let's make lists for horizontal wells and vertical wells. First, filter the max inclination attribute to be above 80 degrees. Making sure that the max inclination is checked, click Apply Filter, then give this list a name and click OK to save the list. So to get that vertical well list, we're just going to invert the filter with this button here. It's going to grab the exact opposite group of wells. So in this case, it's going to be all those vertical wells. And then we're going to go ahead and give the well list a name and then click OK to save. I'll clear my filters again and move along to the welltops and wellogs tabs. Both of these tabs allow users to search the alias, which is going to be on the left, and the mnemonics or individual tops on the right. Users can be selective on their search to toggle all selected or present or any selected or present in the upper left. Users can also check more than one alias or mnemonic, and the tab will show the count of the attributes checked in that tab. When you're finished making your selections, click Apply Filters, then give that well list a name and click OK to save. Note, if you have rasters or quick rasters in your project, there will be additional tabs in this Create a Well List dialog that you can search and make well lists on those types of data too. You can also type in these search bars in order for you to kind of search through the different pieces of data in the Create a Well List tab. Lastly, let's look at the scalars. Scalars can be searched by the attribute and values if desired. Simply check the attribute and then left click to open the filter, kind of in that value filter column. Depending on the type of attribute, a checkbox or scroll bar will open so you can select the desired filters for that well list. Don't forget to use the search bars to find your attributes if you need to. Once you've made the selections for your attributes, click Apply Filters and then OK to save the list. So for this one, I'm actually going to do the landing zone for horizontal wells that have landed in the Austin Chalk. So I ran my well targeting attribute. And then I'm going to also do, besides the Austin Chalk, I want to make a well list on the upper Eagleford. So same kind of thing, Apply Filters. I'm going to give that list a name, and then I'm going to press OK to save it. While I have only created a well list with basically just one attribute per well list, users can absolutely select multiple attributes for filtering from any of these tabs. The tab at the top is going to show where the search attributes are being pulled with kind of that green check, and then the number of attributes selected in that tab in the parentheses. Same thing as before, click Apply Filters, and then give the well list a name, then click OK to save that well list. Now we'll close the Create a Well List module because we're kind of done with that. And we're going to go to our data tree so we can actually see our well lists, the ones that we've created. And you can add them to the Basemap with a left drag. And notice that we haven't actually saved our session and pushed these well lists to the database. So if you look at the session well list count versus the project well list count, they're going to be different. Also, these new well lists can be styled with a right click and to access the Style dialog. The second way to create a well list in Transform via a temporary region in the Basemap. Let's take a look at that. So first I'll put a well list on the base map that I want to have access to for my region selection. In this case, I'm just going to use all well locations. Then I'll engage the region tool, but only the selection mode, not the saving mode. And I'll left click to create the region and double click to close. Notice the wells are red and selected inside the region, and then I'll right click on that region and select Send Selected Wells to create a well list view. Once the Create a Well List view dialog opens, notice the top lets you know a base map selection is being used, and the well count reflects the wells selected in the region. You can save a well list from the selection, or you can continue to use different tabs of well data to filter that list. The Create a Well List module functions just like I previously showed, but it's using the selected group of wells and not all the wells in your session. Note, if you reset all of the filters in the Create a Well List mode, it's going to also reset the external selection made on the base map too. Next, let's learn about setting a default well list in Transform. Users can select a default well list in their Transform session to populate drop-down well list selection dialogs within the program. Go to Data, Wells, select Default Well List. Here, select one well list to be the default and click OK. Use the search bar at the bottom to find that list that you want to set. Let's take a look at places this is useful. The data tree. As you click on various types of data, you can see that the well list that I chose for the default is already populating that dialog. Next, let's look at the mapping utility. So I'll pull in some data to use in the mapping utility, and you'll notice that the well list is already populated for me. Another place that this is super helpful is going to be in the calculators. So in different calculators that pull in well lists for selection, you're going to see that the default well list is selected for you. Remember, users do not have to select a default well list. There are options to select none, like no default well list, or all wells. All well lists is the default and is noted as all data in the well list dropdowns. And don't forget, default well lists are session specific. Adding and deleting wells from a well list. There are a few ways users can add or remove wells from well lists in Transform. First, right-click on a well list in the data tree. Select View Edit. This dialog shows all the wells in that well list. Checking the box and clicking the red X will delete those wells from the well list. The green plus or minus selects and deselects all the wells. This icon here opens the Create a Well List dialog for more searching to add wells to the well list. The dialog works the same as opening from the Data Wells drop-down menu. Click Apply Filters after selections are made and OK. Notice my well list has more wells added. Click OK to add these wells to my current well list count, or click Cancel to keep the list as it was. Next, from the base map, users can right-click on a single selected well for options to add or remove selected wells from well lists. Users can add this well to one or many well lists. Click OK when selections are complete. Right-click Remove Selected Wells from Existing Well List opens a dialog with the well lists that contain that well. Users can delete this well from one or many lists. Just check the box next to the list and click OK. Users can add or delete a group of wells selected with a region in the base map. Draw a region in the base map and right-click. Notice the same options as the single well selection. Now we've created some well lists. Let's explore creating well annotation and styling well lists on the base map. First, right-click allows access to the Move to Layer extent if you're looking for that well list. And then right-click Style opens up the Well List Style dialog. First, you can change the well list if needed. The second tab is for the annotation. Here I have some well annotation templates set up that I can apply to a well. If the well has the information for the template, it will display on that well. You can adjust the size of the label and change the well annotation template. Don't forget to click Apply. Users can create a new annotation template with the blue plus here at the top. Here's the Well Annotation Template Creator module. These tabs on the left contain the well information that can be left drag drop to the template on the right. Right-click on a label to select a display color or delete once it's actually brought over to the template. When you're finished making your selections, click Save and then give the Well Annotation template a name. Click Close to return to the Well List Style dialog, and you can apply that new Well Annotation template. Moving to the Symbol tab, here users can update the color and symbol of the well. Check the box to override, and then use this drop-down to select additional symbols for display. Plus, the slider allows for the symbol size display to be adjusted as needed. We've been looking at a vertical well list. Let's go quickly look at a horizontal well list. As the well annotation template options are the same, but users can actually update the wellbore path, and then that can help highlight wells that were drilled in certain formations, or just maybe some different distinctions that you've made between different types of wells. Same as the override well symbol, we'll go to the symbol tab, except you can select the wellbore this time. So we'll override our wellbore color. Lastly, users can access the Create Well Annotation Template module and the Well Annotation Template Gallery from the Display drop-down menu from the top of the application. There are a couple of ways to find a well in Transform. First, from the data tree. Click on wells in the data tree and select a well list or possibly leave all data. Using the search bar in the upper right of the data tree, type information for the well you're looking for. Once found, there are right-click options. Users can type information about the well name or the identifier to find that well. Users can also left drag drop that one well to the Basemap for more options. Once added, maybe you can't find it, just go ahead and right-click, move to layer extent to zoom into that well. The second way to find a well in Transform is through the data dropdown. So Data, Wells, Find a Well. This will hook up the Well Properties Viewer Editor to the Find a Well dialog. Select a well list in the dropdown and then select a well. Notice the well card for that well is displayed. Click Close to view the well information. And then click this icon in the upper right to access that Find a Well dialog again, or you can also go through Data dropdown, Wells, Find a Well.
Let's review managing wells and right-click options. Users can manage wells from the data tree. You'll need to be the owner of that well to delete, but this right-click Manage will show the available database management options for your well. Users can also access this menu from the right-click on the well in the Basemap. There are different options available when you right-click a well. In the data tree, users have these options including viewing the well card, adding or removing wells from a well list, and opening the Create a Well List module. But in addition, in the Basemap, you can have additional view options like showing the well location in the Basemap or updating the style of the well.
Let's explore accessing the View Edit Well properties or well header and well information for each well. There are many ways to access. First, right-click in the data tree on that well. Also, right-click on that well in various views, like the correlation view, section view, a 3D scene, and the Basemap. Once you have selected the well to view in the View Edit Well Properties tab, we can explore that for those different tabs and the available options to view the data within that well. To the left is going to be the well header information. Users must be the owner of a well to update this. Plus, after entering an update to the field, you have to actually click Enter on your keyboard so the field will change green. Don't forget to save your session to keep these edits. Exploring the tabs to the right. First, the Tops tab. If a well has tops, you'll see them in this tab. This icon in the upper left allows a user to enter a top manually to that well. The pencil icon notes a field that can be updated, and clicking the eyeball opens a single log viewer to see this well, tops and logs. Left drag a log to the left to view with those tops. The Survey tab is the deviation survey or path of the wellbore. The purple pencil allows users to engage editing of the survey as needed as long as they have correct permissions. There are options to bring in an Excel spreadsheet, and you can also right-click in the table for some more options. Next, the Zones tab. If you do have zones in your well, all the zones and their associated attributes will be listed here. Casings. They also have tools in the upper left if you can actually add data to that tab within the well. Logs. Logs can be viewed from the View Edit Well Properties dialog with using the eyeball as well. Right-click in that view to add the tops. If users have loaded and digitized raster logs, you'll see them in this tab. And click on the eyeball to actually take a look at that raster log. If there are quick rasters loaded to your project and within this well, you can also see them in this tab. Same thing, click that eyeball to view those. If a well doesn't have the data type associated, the tab will be empty. If a user can manually add data on a tab, those tools will be in the upper left of that tab. The pencil icon notes a field that can be updated from within the View Edit Properties dialog. Let's take a look at a well with a time depth pair associated real quick. So click on the check shot here on the left-hand side to view the time depth pairs, and the tools in the upper left are going to be available to update that time depth pair as needed. You have lots of well lists, but you would like to use them to create new well lists. A well list of wells that overlap in particular well lists, or maybe a list that excludes wells from a list. Go to Data, Wells, Well List Operations. Here, users have the option to work with well lists in 3 ways: union, intersection, and exclusion. First, for union, select well lists to add together into one list. Notice as I select a list, the count in the upper right corner adjusts. Give the well list a name and click Save to save. For intersection, select 2 or more lists to extract common wells to make a new well list. Click Save to save this new list of intersection from these well lists. The third option in the well list operations module is exclusion. So you're going to select a well list at the top in the dropdown to subtract or exclude other selected well lists from to make a new well list. This may help you figure out which wells you need to find more data potentially. And as always, you can manage your well lists in the data tree. This section will focus on posting well data on the Basemap. We will walk through each of these topics shown here. Let's get first started with generating pie charts in the Basemap.
New project and you don't know where your data coverage is. Within Transform, users can display data in the Basemap in the form of pie charts. You'll access these through the blue plus in the Basemap Layer Manager. Users can give this pie chart layer a name and select a well list to use. There are 2 options for pie charts: values that will create a pie chart based on actual values of an attribute, or presence. Is that attribute present in the well? Plus, a way to view non-numerical data on your Basemap. I find it super helpful when diving into a new project to figure out where you need to pick tops, or possibly get more log coverage. I can add the well log alias to my attributes and then assign a well log alias for that piece of the pie. Users can change the colors and also add more than one attribute for a given slice of pie. I'll just make this one a 4-part pie and maybe get rid of this 5th attribute. In addition, this dialog allows users to create well lists from the pie charts that are created. You can select attributes that are present or possibly absent in those wells, give those well lists a name, and then click OK. Once the pie chart layer is added to your Basemap, users can right-click to access the Style menu. Transparency, change the scale, and color make the pie chart a ring around the well. Those are your options that you can see in the Basemap here. You can also add and change attributes as desired for your pie chart display. Lastly, users can have more than one pie chart layer in their Basemap. They each just need a different name. Use the different style and display options to view. Users can view well logs on horizontal wells in the Basemap and adjust those display options. To view those logs in the Basemap, first select a well list, and then a well log alias or mnemonic to add to the Basemap display. Once that layer is added to the Basemap, users can adjust the display options. There's lots of options to get that desired display you're looking for. Users can adjust the curve width, line color, and transparency. That's kind of in that portion at the top. Next, you can also adjust where the log is actually posted in relation to the well path. And you're going to have some options there that you can kind of drag for the different offsets from west, south, center, east, and north, or even offset relative to the path from a surface to the bottom hole. Going along down the display dialog, users can adjust the scale, updating the view for the desired well log range display. This is a gamma ray log, but if you pulled up a resistivity log, you can also change to a logarithmic scale. Users can also update the positive direction of the data range as well. Lastly, you can display the axis how you desire. Show the tick marks at a particular cadence, plus adjust the length of the tick marks, with also the color of the tick marks and the transparency. You even have the option to just turn those tick marks off. Once this well log display is on your Basemap, you can right-click to access the Style menu, and you can actually update the data that's being displayed. Maybe you don't want the well log to show up for this specific well, just go ahead and check it off in that box. If you wanted to, you can even change the well log that's going to be displayed.
Wellbore intervals can be posted on the Basemap via the blue plus Wellbore Intervals. Select a well list and Wellbore interval type. Selection of the interval type updates the dialog below. Click Add Selected Wellbore Intervals to the map. Once added to the Basemap, right-click Style to update the Wellbore Intervals display in the Basemap. Adjust the color and the line width, but you can even add labels with the drop-downs on the right. Once labels are added, there are additional options for label posting and then also color. Additional options in the Style menu allow users to add additional wellbore intervals to the Basemap or possibly remove a wellbore interval as needed. Users can also add more than one wellbore interval layer to the Basemap. Users can post perforations on horizontal wells in the Basemap. Go to the blue plus, Perforations. Select a well list and then wellbores to display the perforations in the Basemap. Use the green plus and minus to deselect or select all. Click Add Selected Perforations to the map. If a well is vertical, the perforations will not display on the Basemap. Right-click Style on the perforations layer in the Basemap to adjust the color and line width. Right-click to remove the layer and toggle on and off in the Basemap as needed. Users can post welltop and welltop alias information on the Basemap. Go to the blue plus, welltops or welltop aliases. Both dialogs are the same, just access different information. First, select a well list and the welltop alias source data. You see the count for each top next to the name. Next, on the Display tab, update the symbol and size of the welltop alias post. Then in the dropdown, select a label. This dropdown contains the information associated with the welltop alias to be posted on the Basemap. Working down this dialog, users can color the welltop alias symbols and labels by a fixed color or by another attribute. Using a color bar, that actually lets you see the trend of that welltop across the basin. See, if I zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see the trend. Click Close when you've made your selections, but then you can always reopen this dialog with a right-click Style on the Welltops Posting tab in the Basemap. Users can post both well scalar and wellbore interval or zone attributes on the Basemap. Click the blue plus and we'll start with the well scalars first. Select a well list and then select an attribute for the bubble color. Once an attribute is selected, click the color map to update as desired. This slider restricts the data to be pulled in for the bubble color. Working down the dialog, select an attribute for the bubble size. It can be different than the above selection if desired. And this slider restricts the data to be pulled in for the bubble size. This last slider controls the bubble size radius range on the Basemap. Click Close when complete. Right-click Style to access that dialog again to update the display. You might want to give this layer a name, as users can add more than one well scalar attribute to the Basemap. Let's click that blue plus again, and we will move on to the wellbore interval or zone attributes. Select a zone to pull the attributes, and then a well list before selecting an attribute for the bubble color. Once an attribute is selected, click the color map to update as desired. The slider restricts the data to be pulled for the bubble color. Working down the dialog, select an attribute for the bubble size. It can be different than the above selection, but it does need to be an attribute in the selected zone. Click Close when complete. Right-click Style to access that dialog again to update the display. You might want to give this layer a name, as users can add more than one wellbore interval or zone attribute layer to the Basemap. Users can add pie charts of cumulative production to the Basemap. You just need to make sure those production values are loaded to your database. Click the Basemap blue plus Well Cumulative Production. Select a well list at the top. Working down this dialog, you'll notice it's already pre-filled with green, red, and blue for oil, gas, and water, but you can update the colors as needed. Users can select the oil, gas, and water production values to be used in the cumulative pie chart with these individual dropdowns. At the bottom, there are controls for the radius size and the ability to toggle on and off an alias and annulus if desired. Right-click Style to update this layer if you go back to the Basemap. You might want to give this layer a name, as users can add more than one cumulative production layer to the Basemap. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Click here for more information about Enverus Transform.